Barnaby Bear looked at the bare, brown patch of earth behind his treehouse. It looked lonely. "I shall plant a garden," he declared, his voice full of hope. A garden of pure goodness. He wasn't quite sure what that meant, but he was determined. He found an old, dusty seed packet with no picture, just the words "Seeds of Goodness," written in swirling, faded letters. "Perfect," he boomed, not questioning his luck. He carefully tilled the soil with his big, clumsy claws. Barnaby didn't read the instructions. He poured the entire packet of seeds into one giant hole, patted it down with immense satisfaction, and gave it a generous, splashy watering that nearly flooded the entire yard. The next morning, a single, bright green shoot appeared. But it didn't grow up. It grew sideways, zigzagging across the garden path like a green roller coaster track. Barnaby scratched his head. A very adventurous plant. A week later, a large, round, yellow fruit appeared on the zigzag vine. When the wind blew, it didn't rustle. It hummed a cheerful little tune. Barnaby named it the Melon. Its song made everyone who heard it smile. Next, a patch of small, speckled gourds sprouted. Whenever Barnaby walked past, they would shake and let out tiny, high-pitched giggles. He couldn't help but laugh with them, his deep chuckle mixing with their silly giggles. He planted carrots next. When he tried to pull one up, the green top wiggled and tickled his nose mercilessly. Harvesting carrots became a sneezy, laughing affair. He decided they were best left in the ground for the comedy. Barnaby read that gardens needed compost. He added apple cores, eggshells, and by accident, a single, striped sock. The next day, a small plant appeared, proudly growing several more tiny, mismatched socks. It was the sock shrub. The sunflowers he planted were beautiful, but incredibly shy. They would turn to face the sun, but if anyone looked directly at them, they'd droop and hide their faces. Barnaby had to admire them from the corner of his eye. Even the weeds were peculiar. One type would gently wrap around weaker plants to hold them up. Another would glow softly at night, lighting the path for nocturnal creatures. Barnaby decided they weren't weeds, but helper plants. The garden attracted bees, but these bees were terrible at making honey. They built wobbly, lopsided hives and made honey that tasted faintly of peppermint and rainbows. Barnaby loved it. He built them a sign, "The Bumbling Bee and Bee." His neighbor, a very proper fox, peered over the fence, dismayed by the chaotic, humming, giggling jungle. "It's a mess, Barnaby," he said. Just then, a giggling gourd made him jump, and a melon hummed a tune that softened his frown. A sudden summer storm threatened to wash the garden away. Barnaby rushed out with pots and sheets, but he was one bear against the wind. To his amazement, the zigzag vine curled into a protective wall, and the large leaves of the shy sunflowers opened up like umbrellas over the smallest plants. After the storm, the garden was a mess, but it had protected itself, and it had produced a massive harvest. Barnaby didn't know what to do with so many humming melons and tickling carrots, so he shared them with everyone in the forest. The forest was filled with humming, laughter, and the occasional sneeze. The proper fox was found wearing a tiny sock on his tail. The garden hadn't just grown food, it had grown joy, community, and kindness. That was the goodness the seeds promised. Barnaby looked at his now quiet, resting garden. He smiled. He had one seed of goodness left in the packet. He wondered what his neighbor's bare, lonely patch of earth might grow. He ambled over, seed in paw, ready to share the goodness all over again.